Hello everyone, we are back moments away from the very first tribal council with the NuTirem tribe. They will be filing into tribal council behind me shortly.
All right, come on in, Tyrem.
Coming in to tribal council is Keanu, Liz, Kendall, Rayhan, Kira, Mary, Sean, and Jared. NuTirem getting all settled in to their tribal council. Some of them entering for the very first time.
Welcome. Sean, can you talk a little bit about, obviously this is a real hodgepodge of people from all three different tribes. I mean, talk about having that necklace. I mean, what you went through to get it and how important that is to you right now.
Yeah, I mean, we became this new tribe 333 from the originals, and one of my original tribe mates won our wonderful ziplining opportunity, and so isn't here. It made wanting to do those 50 laps and then the 20 laps even more beneficial. Having that risk is just not something you want at this stage of the game with so many variables, so I'm hoping we don't have to walk 50 laps of anything else in the future, but if that's what you ask us to do, I think we'll all be willing to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that brings me into kind of the split here, right? You said it was 3-3-3. Patrick has nicely excused himself from this tribal council. You earned yourself a necklace, which leaves Kira sitting there potentially in danger. I mean, do you feel like that's the way things are going, or are there other avenues that you were able to talk about and explore with the folks here?
I think everyone feels in danger all the time. Like, if you're sitting pretty, like, I don't think you're playing the game. But, speak louder. Yeah, no, there's been a lot of conversations, been a lot of names, a lot of game playing, a lot of strategy. I will never say that I feel safe ever.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess so. Speak to how this tribe came together, Mary. You were the unofficial captain of it. Do you feel like there was strategy in how people were picking, or do you feel like, did you notice how people were picking? If, like, there were groups that were forming already, even cross-tribal at all?
I completely forgot that I was the unofficial captain for this. So looking at it, having a choice between the two tribes, I picked Liz, who was someone that I thought seemed like a good competitor, and I feel like from what I've seen from all the picks and the way that we performed today in our challenge against ourselves, it feels like people were leaning towards, we have a really strong tribe. I think people were going for that.
Okay.
It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, Liz, is that how this vote is coming to be, of thinking, hey, we got to go head to head with that other side, so let's make sure we're strong? Is that what you feel like is the predominating factor here?
I don't know if it's a predominant factor. I definitely think it's a factor at play. If we can stay out of tribal, I mean, obviously everyone is nervous. I know I'm nervous every single time I come to tribal. So obviously we want a strong tribe to stay out of it, but I think that at this stage of the game that there are multiple different layers to it and different factors that play into every decision.
Yeah, okay. Another way that we could talk about this tribe is the initial hikes that we went on, right? So if everyone wouldn't mind raising their hands if they went on the physical hike. The physical hike?
The physical group.
The physical group?
Not to be confused with the hike, which was very physical.
Sorry. The hike itself was physical, but the physical group of the hike, I believe I saw 6 of the 8 hands raised, leaving out Liz and Rayhan. So, Rayhan, do you feel like that was a way that this tribe was forming in a way that kind of left you on the outs at all, or was that not anything involved in these conversations?
Yeah, I didn't really hear it in the conversations.
Okay.
So I don't know how to elaborate on that, but yeah, I mean, I think it was just, we all, like, I don't know, like, the conversations were more so just, like, our own personal connections. I think, like, who we talked to before. There have been so many swaps now that, like, I feel like a lot of the original is kind of out the window, and now it's more like, who are the relationships that you've built upon instead of just, like, a 3-hour hike, We've been out here for a whole day and a half. Has this been a day? I don't even know. Let's go here. It's been really long, yeah.
Jared, did you hear your name at all in the conversations that were happening over the last 45 minutes?
I did, yeah.
How did you react to that? What are you telling the tribe to say, hey, this is the reason why I need to stay here in other tribal?
It's understandable just because the dominance that the Kinney, my voice is totally shot. I know you got some good video on that, but it's understandable just given how well we've done, and that's kind of the nature of the beast of this game. I totally get it. These are good competitors. I told them that look, I imagine that Kinney probably went home on the other tribe as well, given they're thinking the same thing. To me, my success is not going to be with Kinney as much as Mary, Keanu have been great. I need to show loyalty, so use me as a vote, and especially given that it's a tribal still. Why not have a strong number around while this is still a tribal game? Maybe use me as a shield later down the road.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that's factoring into this is that Kineo never went to tribal. The other two tribes did go to tribal. So, Keanu, I mean, you haven't built that voting trust with some of these people, but also you don't have any bad blood. I mean, are you seeing bad blood between some of the other tribes? And are you seeing maybe a lack of complete trust with your own tribe at all?
I don't know if lack is a good word to choose when it comes to describing those. I think it's just uncertainty, and you don't know what's going to happen until the votes are read. And I think that's what scares us all.
Okay. I still haven't gotten a single name out of you all. Being very cagey here. Kendall, 5, I believe, out of the 8 of you have gone to at least one tribal, which means, there are potentials for extra votes here. I mean, how much were you doing to figure out, hey, I need to make sure I have an extra person or, maybe, an extra 2 people in this majority alliance? It's not 5 over 3, it's 6 over 2 or something like that. Is that kind of how you're factoring things right now?
Honestly, the extra votes is not something I really thought about. It's been chaos, honestly, the last few minutes of figuring out who I should vote for, and I'm still not sure I know who I'm voting for. So, with that being said, no, it's probably not something it's not on my mind.
Are you deciding between 1 or 2 names at this point?
Sure.
Okay. I have no idea what's happening.
I don't think we have
I haven't.
I don't think there's been a lot of names
Are we
thrown
not
out.
getting
Everyone's
along?
very nervous.
There's
Probably
been, you go
3
talk to,
names
yeah,
have
I think
been
3 names.
talked about consistently,
Okay.
which is
You feel like there's
a lot of names.
That's a lot of names.
But
3
whose
names.
name it was,
Might be different. Everyone's 3
yeah,
names
every
is different.
person you talk to is different, so I don't know who.
So Sean feels comfortable, but the other 7 of you would raise your hand if I said you might feel like you're going home right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out. Does anyone want to say anything else to each other before we get to the voting booth? All right, a cagey tribal, a real cagey tribal. We'll start the voting. Oh, I'll bring it. Yep, I'll have Jared bring it.
All right.
Jared, you start the voting and bring.
And away we go. I'm going to go to my little mossy boulder over here. And we will walk away from the NuTirem tribe and chaotic but vague at the same time tribal. Good thing is I've been filled in on a lot of information. So a lot of the things that the players were not sharing, I will share with you. So we're just going to come on back to what I think is my favorite hangout spot, this giant mossy boulder over here on the way to Tyrem's camp, since Tyrem has vacated the premises for this tribal. So as soon as I get all set up on this boulder, we will get right into it. And I'm happy to report that I have my little handy dandy paper here so I can actually remember groupings and names and not say 1,000 times. Thank you, Chris. With the Shrek quote, amazing. That is a nice boulder. So, oh my god, the only name we heard actually was Jared, because he self-admitted it when Cam asked him. But in fact, he is not the only name being thrown around. But watch that, like, the 3 names I'm about to tell you, it's none of them. Because, I don't know. So, we have this tribe that has an even split of 3-3-3 from all of the old tribes. And people are looking with very, very sharp eyes at the 3 Kineo tribe members. Remember, they are the only ones that did not go to tribal council pre-swap, which means there are 7 of them still in the game because Jared's prediction about a Kineo going home from New Rollins was incorrect, as we saw Sandra from Old Rollins go home. So, people are eyeing wanting to take out a Kineo because they're feeling that 7 is just too many to leave in the game, which means Mary, Jared, and Keanu are all targets. So first up, let's talk about Mary. So Mary, if you'll remember from yesterday, was one of, or oh my God, was it this morning? It was this morning. It's been such an action-packed day. So from this morning, Mary was on the puzzle in the very first challenge and found an immunity idol at the challenge. However, she kind of left it all out in view. She was like high-fiving players with it in her hand. And so I'm told that she apparently told the entire tribe about it. So all of NuTirem knows that she has it. The big question mark being, will she play it, or is she using it as a threat to keep the votes from coming on to her? So I know many players potentially looking to try and maybe flush that idol or vote Mary out with an idol still in her pocket. So next up we have Jared. And with this one, and kind of with Keanu, it's the same. But players are looking at both of them as incredible challenge threats down the line. This is not a merge vote, this is a swap vote, but the players on NuTirem are kind of treating this as though it is a merge vote, kind of looking at individual challenge strength as almost a detractor rather than a benefit to the tribe. So it sounds like perhaps they are a little less worried about keeping the tribe strong and already looking super ahead to a potential individual stage of the game at a merge. But again, we're only down to like, damn, I'm gonna have to do math. 4 vote outs. We're down to 17 people. The merge is nowhere near. So it's pretty wild that they're kind of already looking to the super long game when the short game is what they're going to be dealing with for, you know, a while still. Let's see. So that's kind of Jared and Keanu. They're challenge threats. Jared was arguing that makes him someone good to keep around, not only to keep the tribe strong, but also to hide behind as a shield. Keanu not really pleading his case. Keanu, a much more kind of quiet person out here in general. In other news, on the people that are not Old Kineo, I am excited to report that there is a potential ladies alliance forming, with including Kendall, Kira, Liz, and Mary. It has been confirmed by several of the ladies. Sounds like perhaps Kira, Kendall, and Liz are a little more into it than Mary might be. But I am hoping that they stick together because those girls are sick. They are dynamite, and I would be so excited to watch them slay this game together. So, like, we'll see. I'm very biased, though. Potentially those 4 would be aiming votes either Jared or Keanu's way. I'm also told that at least Kendall thinks that Rayhan would potentially vote with all the ladies for either Jared or Keanu. Sorry, just making sure it wasn't my time to go back. And so Kendall, under the impression that because of Rayhan and her were kind of a tight duo in Old Tirem, that Rayhan would come on over and vote with them and vote either Jared or Keanu. However, I was told that Rayhan is in the middle of like several different like groupings of 3, and that it's this like huge tangled web of different like 3 people groups with Rayhan in all of them. And in fact, there were so many that the person telling me all this, because of all the confessionals, couldn't even tell me like which groupings there were because there were so many. So like, that's not a great sign. Yeah. let's see, in other news, we haven't talked about Sean. So Sean appears to be gravitating towards Jared and Keanu, and kind of potentially might be voting with them towards Mary, because, spoiler alert, Jared and Keanu know, of course, that their names are out there, and so obviously to save themselves, they would have to aim a vote Mary's way. I think Sean may be gravitating to some similarly physical threat players, because the longer they are in, the longer he gets to kind of like hide amongst them instead of standing out because they are gone. So I think Sean, with a little self-preservation, thinking ahead time. So yeah, and then of course Patrick will be rejoining this tribe once he is back from the zipline reward. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I think that's all I have. Kendall has a vote banked right now, I know, on this tribe, and I can't remember. Sean might too. Oh, and what?
One more vote.
Is the last person going?
They're about to go.
Okay. All right, so we've got like 30 more seconds before we hit back. I was told Sean was potentially considering banking a vote this tribal, because Sean was considering voting with Jared and Keanu, but also considering banking the vote since he's immune, so like, why get into it? But I think, I'm not positive, but he might have already banked a vote, and so if that's the case, he will not be able to bank a second vote, because players can only have one extra vote in their possession at a time. And then a quick recap for those that don't know while we're heading back. Players have the option this season of vote banking, which means if they attend tribal council, they go over to the voting booth, and if they elect not to cast a vote, then they are able to save it for a future tribal council. It makes the numbers really hard to gauge. You can't count on allies actually voting at all. You don't know if people you're voting against can whip out tons of extra votes and bury all the numbers you might have put together. So a lot to consider with each and every tribal council. We are now heading back as the last player is finalizing their vote. And then remember, please stick around, because we're going to be doing an exit interview and coming straight back to tribal council for an important decision to be made by Sean. So you absolutely don't want to miss it. Stay with me the whole way through. And in we come to the tribal council area once again. The last member of NuTirem, now over at the voting booth.
All right, I'll go tally the votes.
All right, away goes Cam to tally those votes. How many he will be tallying remains to be seen. A reminder that players this season have the option to bank their vote instead of casting a vote and keeping an extra vote in their pocket for a future tribal council. All the players can do now is wait in silence for the votes to be returned to the tribal council area. And one last look as the players wait on. We've got Keanu, Liz, Kendall, Rayhan, Kira, Mary, Sean, and Jared. For those just tuning in, we are moments away from revealing the vote of the NuTirem Tribal Council. This is the first tribal council they are coming to as a swap tribe. Cam is back with the votes.
All right. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. For yourself? It's very pretty. It is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast against Mary will not count. I'll read the votes. First vote, Jared. Second vote, Rayon. Third vote, Jared. Fourth vote, Rayon. That's 2 each. Fifth vote, Jared. Sixth and final vote, Jared. That's 4, that's enough. Congratulations. Jared, the tribe is spoken.
Thanks for having me. Good luck, everybody.
All right, and Jared will make his way out of the tribal council area, still on live stream. Once we get far enough away, Jared will share some final thoughts with us and answer a couple questions. Jared, this is your time, so once we get far enough away, anything you would like to share, the floor will be yours.
Oh, I'm not far enough away?
We'll go right up this little ridge and then you can go ahead and go.
First of all, how am I not getting more airtime until I got voted out? What's with that? I mean, I got a haircut for all this.
The viewers did notice the new haircut.
Yeah?
Yeah, they commented
man.
on it.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm gonna be so much fire. Psych. Why'd I get this haircut? Play better with long hair. Nah, I mean, look, first of all, this has been one of the proudest moments for me. Not so much for like the conditions. Yeah, this was the toughest game, but just like putting myself out there to like donate, which is like something I'm very uncomfortable doing. Was able to raise over $1,500, and thank you so many of you that are watching out there that did donate. I wish I brought home that bread, especially for ALS. But I so appreciate your support, and that means more to me than any placement in this game. You know, I'll say that life is, you know, comes down to inches and comes down to decisions, right? And I really placed a lot of my trust in Sean. Probably should have went with Sandra in that moment, given that no offense, Sandra, I definitely beat you in that challenge. But secondly, you know, I know she's a bird in the hand. I know she's loyal. I just didn't want that that spotlight, and maybe I wanted a different path this time around. But look, thank you, Can You Survive family, and I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you so much. You know, you answered the majority of the questions I would have asked you, so you're a next level interviewee, I gotta say. I know you shared that you were proud of yourself. I'd love to know maybe what you're most proud of about your time out here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just going back to playing for something bigger than like myself. I think it's key. I've been very fortunate that my family, you know, is healthy, and we don't have like a lot of family tragedy. You know, fortunately, knock on wood. You see a bunch of wood, knock on it.
All around you.
But yeah, it's not the same for the folks, you know, with ALS, and you know, average age, you know, is 55. For those who, you know, do get it, you know, 2 to 5 year life expectancy, $250,000 for cost of treatment, and then 90% of cases are without, you know, genetic history. So, you know, it's just, again, great that I'm playing for something bigger than myself, and I was able to lean into that. And again, that means more to me than, you know, any idol or immunity challenge I could play.
Absolutely. Well, Jared, thank you so much. We are so happy that you have joined the CYS family. We love that you are repping your charity throughout this entire game. You take care. We're going to leave you with our pre-jury handler so you can shower and eat and hang out.
Yes, thank you.
All right. And with that, we will head back into the tribal council area because we still have Sean making a big decision that he does not yet know what it is. But if y'all tuned into the last tribal council, you sure already know, and I know you're gonna want to see. All right, heading back into the tribal council area now.
Hello, welcome back. All right, like I said before the challenge, the immunity winner would have to make an important decision after tribal. So Sean, if you would join me in the tribal council booth, we'll go make that decision.
All right, Sean heading around the corner to the tribal council voting booth. Has a big decision to make, does not yet know what it might be. Sean taking in the piece of paper in front of him. We're going to be talking very quietly. Sean being tasked with ranking his remaining tribe mates from 1 to 6. Taking a moment to think about it, immediately writing in 6. Going for the last place first, moving his way up to 5. Now filling in the number 1 slot as Mary. The number 2 spot as Kira. Number 3 as Liz. Number 4 as Kendall.
Okay.
I'll have you just hold it up in front of you just so we can do it one more time for the viewers, but they can also see your face. Thank you. So Sean has just been asked to rank the tribe mates from 1 to 6. Number 1 spot Mary, 2 Kira, 3 Liz, 4 Kendall, 5 Rayhan, and 6 Keanu.
Okay. I will reveal what that means to the tribe, but for having to do such a difficult task, you are rewarded with this.
I'm sorry, I guess I can speak.
Just a little louder.
Whether you're on top of the mountain or the lowest ladder rung, you should always be working as the game is still very young. The next challenge will provide a unique opportunity. Be the first to go for a clue to hidden immunity.
All right.
I'll take this, and we can head back to tribal.
All right, and we'll just be heading back over to the tribal council area now, where the results of what that was will be revealed to the players. All right.
Okay. I won't get into the specifics, but in the tribal council booth, Sean was faced with a difficult task. The outcome of that task is that Kendall, Keanu, and Rayhan, you're going to be exiled for the evening. So you will be going down to the Kineo camp, while the rest of you will be going back to Tyrem. Patrick will join you shortly. You guys can go now.
Are the spies still there?
There are, yeah.
You did a pretty good job. It's actually a nice camp.
All right, so with that, Rayhan, Keanu, and Kendall grabbing their stuff, and we'll be heading on down to exile in the old Kineo camp.
Go quickly, but yes. The rest of you, Patrick will be joining you shortly, but I got nothing for you. You can head back to camp.
All right, and with that, they will be heading back to the NuTirem camp, with Patrick joining them shortly. We're just gonna go away for a little chat. So, all right, so All right, so as we know from the last tribal council, there are already 3 players down there at Kineo Camp waiting for them. And I believe, oh man, that's gonna test me. It's gonna be, I know it's Andy and Ned and someone else that I cannot remember, I'm sorry. So let me recap for y'all what just happened. So the 2 players that won individual immunity, Sean and, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, Sean and, sorry, Danny, won individual immunity, but also won a big decision. Their big decision was they had to rank all of the remaining members of their tribe 1 through 6. The bottom 3 from each of their ranking lists were exiled. They were exiled all together, which is Andy, Aviva, and Ned, Kendall, Rayhan, and Keanu. So all 6 of them will be exiled tonight and in the Kineo camp together. Leaving the 4 remaining players from each tribe heading back to their original tribes, with Patrick and Isaiah joining them now that they are returning from their reward. Let's just check back in with Cam to see if anything else is going on tonight, because I don't know that it is. Cam, do we have any other action this evening for day 2?
The tribes don't know it, but we will be coming back for one surprise challenge and a little bit of a reveal in a couple hours before it gets too dark. So we'll have a little bit of a break, but we will be back for one final thing.
Great. So I will post and let y'all know when that thing will be going live, so that way you guys are ready and don't miss anything. Sounds like we have one more challenge and a little something extra. Feel free to theorize about what that might be, and we'll see if you're right. Let's see. All right. Thanks, y'all. See you soon. Well, not too soon. Like, you get it.